Good evening, everyone. Not so Indian yellowy background, but forgot to change that. Gonna be very honest. Fat Phil would welcome, obviously Gulchen, Ian, a watercolorist, welcome. Other people who are joining or have joined us and haven't said anything, welcome as well. Hopefully sound is good, image is good enough. Thank you, Fat Philbert. It says when we're singing here. Let's have a look how the battery is here. That is good. I think quickly going to test if this is working as well. What is working? Well, this is working. Yes, that is working. Working perfectly. Here. Oh, my shoulder isn't working. Oh. If you're here, don't forget to like the stream, so we might encourage the algorithm for more people to find this. That is not a helpful image, is it? Is that a bandage? Yeah. Yeah, it's a highlighting glow. Still, but this is the first phase. So this is, it's looking different now from what it did. This very brown liquid that it is right now, brown, greenish brown yellow. The foam is yellow. This looks like very strong tea, but it has kind of a green shine to it. I don't know. This is the phase where it's was before in my previous. Still smells the same. Oh. Forgot that I put 96% alcohol in it to make a solution. Anyway, this was the phase where it used to be kind of that cream color. So this is different, obviously. And I'm not quite sure if it's going to have the same reaction in the next phase. Looks like luminol, yeah, a little bit, yeah. Funny enough, the compound itself is kind of it's white, so the very pure extract, which isn't the color compound yet, is that white powder. That on itself has a slight orange glow to it under UV, and the more the pH goes up, yeah, it clears the sinuses. Yes, it does. The more yellow it gets. Right now, it's in a very high pH. I need to bring it down first. After that, I'm going to bring going to add the magnesium salts to it, and that should make a solid something. Hopefully, also making it a little bit more orange again. So that's how it was before, and what hopefully happens now, that orange will come back. I'm just waiting a minute before I really get started. Also thought, today let's make some yellow, some benzimidazoline yellow, PY 154. Just because it's a beautiful yellow. I can also make Indian yellow, PY 153. But I thought, this is a undeniable yellow, whereas anything Indian yellow related on the slab or as a powder sometimes kind of look orange. So I thought, thinking about a yellow, this is my yellow to go. Let's have a look. This is all working. This is all ready to go. I can play a bit with it in the meantime, I think. It will have an annoying sound like this. I hope you don't mind. That's the magnet stirrer. Let's first bring the pH down a little bit. I need to make sure I add the right stuff to it. Can you still hear me here? Might be able to direct the microphone a little bit more towards me here, but hopefully everyone can still hear me. So interestingly, what this does, it makes it a little chunky. First I want to know if you can hear me if I'm standing there, and then I will continue, because I'm really afraid if you can't hear me it will be just a very, very weird stream. Can't really hear the string. Okay, that's good. Well, as long as you can hear me. Interestingly, without a black light, this colorless liquid added here isn't really visible in there. You see some little kind of chunks forming, which is good. But as soon as I do this, you see that this doesn't have that UV at all. So you see a clear drops. You see kind of a negative in the UV happening. Can't add too much at once because little agglomerations form when I add this, and I want that to be kind of slow and steady. Constantly need to check the pH as well, which is still way too high. Let me see if I can add. Do I have that over here? Sometimes it's really hard finding back my stuff because there's too much stuff, which is actually not funny at all. I think we're almost there. So especially useful, the UV. I have it it's hanging right above it here. Especially useful to see if there's any chunks in it floating on top. So yeah, that is that. I'm not brewing tea, for those of you who are wondering. I am trying to make a pigment. And now, for the moment of truth, let's put this down a little bit if we can. If that is possible, I think it is possible. And let's put in this liquid. Let's see what happens on a UV. Highlighter yellow, as you can see. Feeling like I'm kind of behind a cauldron, making a witch's brew. First adding half of it. What? Wait, what? Sentient, welcome. When shall we three meet again? Don't really get that part, Ian. So I just added half of this liquid. I need to wait for a few minutes. Then I'm going to add the other half. Then I'm going to add another liquid to it. And then I'm not 100% sure yet what it will do, if it will already react, because it's quite a pungent concentration of chromophores in there. Maybe a concentration is a little bit too high, so maybe I need to add a little bit more. Let me quickly check my notes for this one. It feels like that, yeah, Ian. Okay. I'm going to let it stir a little bit less aggressively, although this isn't very aggressive, I have to say, but Okay, how to do this, how to do this, how to do this. Okay, got that. I'm going to add a small stirrer. Which hopefully isn't too small. Oh, it's moving. It's moving. There we go. Okay. Oh, there's already, you see the specks on top, it's already reacting. Just a tiny bit. That is good. In the meantime, I'm going to add the other half of this. Which, to be honest, really looks quite spectacular. Super Doom King, welcome. As you can see, there's the vortex is kind of disappearing, which means if I turn it on quite hard, I think there will be a vortex again. Yeah, there's a kind of a surface tension that is evolving here slowly because of a. It's not forming a solid as a whole, but it's forming agglomerates. It's basically flaking together, wanting to become a pigment. Alright, checking the pH again. It's to be a little lower. So there you can see the pieces a bit better, chunky. It's not going to become a custard or a mustard, at least not as much as I've shown before during a live stream. But as you can see, it does become quite chunky. which is good. This also looks good, maybe a little bit on the high side still. Right. Going to add the other liquid to it. And as you can see, that is reacting quite milky. Almost forms like a skin. Which is orange! Alright, are you seeing this? That skin, this stuff, that skin becomes orange. Super Doom King, that's funny. No. Haven't been enthusiastic about a cup of coffee like this before. Not when it's orange. Orange, guys. At least that's not highlighter yellow. But for me, it's more orange than on the camera. Let's see if we can. We need to incorporate it really well. But also, guys, seriously, like, this was transparent, right? Transparent tea-like stuff. So this is good. This is going somewhere. Yes. Really happy with what this is doing. Okay, taking my words back, it is becoming a more of a mustard than I thought it would turn into. I thought it would take a little bit more time and material, extra stuff, to actually do this. But this is exciting, guys. This is really exciting because the base is completely different. Like all the base elements are the same, but the principle behind the solution is completely different. Oh, I thought it was a spider. Huge spiders. It's getting colder out, and like those monstrous spiders are all coming inside. Still too much of a highlighter yellow for my liking. But I mean, this is going somewhere. And maybe it's just the top layer, I'm not quite sure. Right, going to put it on the lowest setting for stirring, while still kind of forms a vortex or still has some movement on the top. So that's a little bit harder than this. Alright, so that's moving again. I have to say, this is quite exciting seeing this mustard again. but where the base was completely different. And this was basically just a rather large but chemical experiment based on what I've worked on this week in smaller versions. But you know, scaled up, it's really nice to see this going as well. What I've done last week, it's still drying. But if this is working like this, I'm not finished yet because this was like the chemically simplified, chemically clean version without there's I can stabilize it a little bit. I can steer it a little bit more orange by adding more of the second liquid instead of more of the first one. So that's all kind of I can still steer it in a direction I wanted to if this works. And basically this needs to run for an hour. I thought making Benzie yellow, but if there's any other okay, wow, my camera isn't working. My camera is not working. Let me have a look. Why is my camera not working? There you go. So if there's anything you would like to see, would like to see otherwise, then Benzie yellow, let me know. Right now, I haven't made it yet, so we can go anywhere. Yeah, I'll be at least I'll be here at least for an hour, I think. Yeah. Now, from now on. So, starting now, I mean. Oh yeah, this is good. This is what's happening is really good. Benzie yellow it is. I'm just going to show you here what's already kind of happening. So what you see here is, oh, my shoulder, really, seriously. In a little under 2 weeks, I have another appointment at the hospital. Yay. So what you see here, there's around the edge, there's like a deeper orange separating liquid. Meaning solids are actually forming right now and it's separating. And this is what I'm really happy about. What I've done wrong last week with after this stage, I was really happy about that deeper mustard like yellow, and I've separated the liquid and the solids, and I threw away the liquid again because the solids were really yellow, and this was just a tiny bit, like tiny experiments, and it ended up again like being too highlighter yellow. And I know from the past when I wasn't working with the pure chemicals, everything like professionally, I also made that mistake. And when I kept the separating liquid and I let that evaporate with the solids, I got a deeper, warmer Indian yellow. So I'm not making that mistake with this one. It needs to slowly turn for an hour. Well, it's doing that right now, and so the reaction can fully complete kind of that marriage between chemicals and salts and whatnot, and then it should be jiggly, more like a pudding. I will then put that in an oven dish lined with plastic foil, so I don't need to scrape it out, but I can just get the foil out, and then I will let that evaporate over the next few days in my dehydrator. And only then, so probably in the weekend, Sunday maybe, I can check if the pigment is actually how I want it to be, which is crazy. But I still have those pigment balls from last week here. There's one version that turned out a little bit less yellow than I wanted it to be, but structural. This is actually, I'm actually very pleased with this. This actually feels like the powder that comes off a bowl of Indian yellow. It has the same consistency. Should we just have a little taste? Not a literal taste, guys. Let's just see what color this will give us. So yeah, grinding it up first, really key with this stuff, because right now I'm just pressing those flakes into the slab. So making it a powder first, next time. No, not literally, but just definitely paint tests, and definitely going to swatch it, but it's still the consistency of the pigment I'm not happy with, like when it's wet. But I don't know if that was normal for Indian yellow. For Indian yellow this pure. Well, I did make a turmeric which sounds amazing. Smells amazing, by the way. I did make a turmeric Maya pigment. So it's basically turmeric extract bound in clay, to make it less fugitive, because turmeric is very, very fugitive, not light fast at all. So I made that, and this smells amazing. It gets like it is a earthy turmeric smell. This is not spinning anymore. I like this. I can just keep an eye on my a watercolorist. So I just made another batch of Indian yellow, but this time chemically it's a little bit different than what I used to make or made before. So I want to keep this spinning, I want to keep this moving. And right now I am making a little bit of Indian yellow of an experiment that I've done last week. Oh, my shoulder is killing me. Okay. One moment, please, guys. Yeah, as a I couldn't when I make the turmeric extract. I did it with alcohol, with ethanol. I got a drop on my hand. I really couldn't get it off, and it wasn't really noticeable anymore. But the fun thing about turmeric is, Mark, welcome. Fun thing about turmeric is that it also glows under UV. This looks too greenish yellow, by the way. This looks perfect. This, as a powder, this really looks perfect. Even like that, you have those orange parts here, those orange kind of crystals over there. But as a paint, this looks way too green, but it could be a reaction with the metal on my palette knife again, and I'm not quite sure about that. I'm really not quite sure because I only saw that, like the green happening. Let's see if it happens more when I do this. It might be it. Not quite sure. I'm going to swatch it anyway. I'm going to swatch it to a swatch of genuine Indian yellow that I try to purify, and it actually kind of worked. So I'm happy that I also now have that experience. I think it's the metal that's just messing with it. I'm not quite sure, because this isn't really giving color at all. This is a shame. This is a shame. But luckily this was an experiment which was different from what I'm making right now. I will add a little bit of turmeric Maya pigment that I made to it. As you can see, this gives that deep orange that we know and love. Lacks a little bit of that brightness. Yeah, this is a wash. Absolutely. I'm just going to add everything together. Just adding a few drops binder. By the way, it's not supposed to be put in like this, the turmeric Maya pigment that I made. If I want to incorporate it into my my pigment eventually, because it just needs the orange. Oh, Mark, I will check, but my phone is not on. Okay, I will check. Gone to sleep. I need to dissolve the turmeric in alcohol first, and then adding it to the Indian yellow pigment. Oh, Mark just sent this. Was the turmeric... Is it ginger? Is it like what do you use of turmeric? I buy it in a bottle, in a powder form. Is it a root, like a ginger? I will keep this. I will keep this inside. By the way, that is interesting. It's way too messy here. By the way, maybe you can see a little bit of it, but hopefully not too much. Yeah, sure. I'll show it here, Mark, if you want to. Let's make a swatch out of this. So this is a Indian yellow and turmeric Maya mix. So not a pure turmeric or a turmeric extract. This is a turmeric bound to Palygorskite. Actually starting to look more like it. I mean, right? I thought, I can be honest, quite close. Let's have a look how this is going here. Still standing still. Why are you standing still? Okay, slow movement. I don't want too hard. Not too aggressive. Okay, so and there's still a difference. Unfortunately, for me, I really like how close I'm getting with like genuine Indian. This is genuine Indian yellow, purified, genuine Indian yellow, like cow's urine stuff. And this is what I just made. And the thing here, it still needs to dry, by the way. You get more reflectiveness after drying. I'm letting it dry first. Luckily, we can do that quite quickly. Mark, if you want to show it, I'll I have it open right here. So quite happy with this, with what's drying over there. But it's not fully there yet. Right now I need to add the turmeric Maya pigment that I made, especially for this, to my Indian yellow pigment. Maybe you can see it, by the way, that it's... So this is quite orangey, reflective. I mean, this more yellowish, where this is more orange in its UV reflectance. This is weird. Wait, thank you. My goal with what is going on over there is that I really want that orange without the turmeric. True about the colorist. When I made the turmeric extract with alcohol on a high heat, just below the evaporating point of alcohol, my studio was smelling like an Indian curry in the making. It was so weird. Kind of the smell of alcohol kind of starting to evaporate in combination with the turmeric. It was so fragrant in here, and that liquid was such a deep yellow. It was really amazing to see. And then you need to bind it to the pelagoscite or to the clay, and when it kind of sinks down and you have like a deep yellow earth pigment, you need to put it through a mesh. And the liquid that's still going out, that's so orange, but you know, I can't absorb any more than's already in there. So you kind of need to throw that out because it's very fugitive. If it's not made, if it's not like either made into a lake pigment or bound to clay. No, it's weird. It's going to look it up. Or did someone look it up? I mean, I believe you, Mark. But I really never knew how related things were. Actually quite happy with this. Let's make a dot out of it. Few dots. This is my... It does have a drying shift, which is unfortunate. This is genuine Indian yellow, purified genuine cow's Indian yellow, like from a genuine piece of Indian yellow. This is the stuff that I just made. This is turmeric Maya pigment, a turmeric clay-based pigment mixed with a very pure chemically Indian yellow. But that is way too weak in its color. So I mixed it. It has a deep orange reflectance in it, but it's still not fully dry. I'm going to let it dry. And I am going to let these dots dry as well to see how well reactivative they are. as paints. Still, like the manganese green that I made last week, into a paint, or I re-wetted it. I didn't make it into a paint, right? I don't think I did. That really feels like a pigment that I bought from like a big supplier, not like from a handmade pigment or anything. Just it feels like a professional pigment, and I'm really proud on that. JD, welcome. It does, and hopefully it is. I mean, that's kind of the goal, right? I mean, nickel azure yellow is the go-to Indian yellow hue for most, at least most mixes or even pure. I got a photo from Mark. Let's have a look. That looks more like ginger like this. Yeah, I know it like this, by the way. I mean, I recognize it like this. Turmeric. Turmeric freshly from Mark's garden. It's currently freezing here. So, getting a sunny turmeric picture always helps. By just seeing turmeric, you're getting hungry. Maybe you already were hungry. Oh yeah, you're more hungry. Makes sense. In the meantime, Mark's sending another picture. Also looks like turmeric, right? I mean, why doesn't it want to turn? Right, so the Indian yellow I'm currently making looks like this at the moment. And it still needs to go like that for at least half an hour, preferably 40 minutes. So in the meantime, let me clean this up a little bit more here. I'm going to take another drink and I'm going to make a little bit of benzie yellow, which was already my plan, Mark, but now you're here. Benzie yellow for you. Let's quickly see if we can change this. We can. Let's get this out of the way. Let's have a look. Let me feel my shoulder if I can to see how much I can make. 1.5. So benzie yellow isn't a very hydrophobic pigment, but it's a pigment that forms kind of little I want to say agglomerates, but it sticks underneath your muller, and nothing is more annoying. I thought this was blue, but that's just the transparency of the glass. Nothing is more annoying than if it sticks on the bottom of your muller, because those little kind of the sticky parts are a height difference between the milling surface, your slab, and the muller, which gives streaks in your milled paint, which is quite terrible. So with this, I'm also applying the method, my method. Shall we call it the dirty blue method? No, that sounds way too pretentious. I'm just gonna slowly incorporate the pigment into the binder, and you just see just a pinch of the powder and it's already turning yellow. It's a very good way to get to learn, get to know a pigment. Learning to know a pigment. You learn a lot about transparency. You learn a lot about particle size, because you can literally just see it, especially with the light that I have here. I can just look at it and see the little particles, and I want to incorporate everything evenly. Also, don't forget that if you want to make paint, and now I'm getting a little bit educational, so be aware. You can't just mill like this. I mean, do I have a marker? Just going to put a line on top of this, so you can actually see the direction. Like this right now, just you see that line staying vertical, right? I'm also just with my fingers, and as you can see here, I'm spinning this. Why am I doing this? I do this sometimes with pigments, usually with my larger muller, to kind of make sure there's a circular motion towards the middle with this. So every time I'm doing this, there's kind of a circular motion towards the middle, making sure the paint kind of collects in the middle, but also taking a little bit of pigment with it every time I touch it. So it brings the an amount of paint towards the middle, and it takes a little bit of pigment away to be mixed with the rest of the binder. I'm not doing that always, like now I'm making like a full circular motion. Then you have tiny circular motions that are still within that full circle, and then you can still do that while spinning the muller itself as well. It's way easier with bigger mullers, by the way. But it's not just turning the glass around. It can be done like that. But for me, it's a combination between all those movements that give me most control over my over the pigment and the dispersion that I'm trying to make with my binder. Still spinning, it's still spinning. Yeah. This doesn't look yellow anymore now. That's annoying. By making Benzie yellow, my Indian yellow looks very pale and green. Which maybe this wasn't the right choice to make as a paint right now, but also, by the way, I don't know if this is a tip or if this is just me. Maybe if you have some experience making paint, let me know if this is the same for you. But when I'm working with my left hand, I'm like working in this direction. Working with my right hand is in this direction. Is that just me? I mean, movements can still be the same. Also with the muller, as you look at the stripe on the top, it's also spinning. So right now I've added a little bit too much pigment on purpose. I'm going to have a look. And it takes quite a long time. Yeah, I cleaned this. To get this off the slab. And it's possible, Gulchen. When you work with mica pigments, what I noticed and where my paints kind of went wrong in the beginning with mica is the consistency of the paint. Just not the proportions per pigment, but just the consistency and the feel of the paint. It needs to be more goopy, more almost slime-like consistency-wise, how it's moving on the slab. I don't like this one. So if those were color shift micas, it's possible. It's possible. Those pigments are way less. Have way less personalities than just, you know, pigment index number pigments or earth pigments. Like with this one, I know it needs a... It looks unprofessional, but sometimes people mulling mica pigments really looks unprofessional to me as well. I'm not even sure if I shared that video or if I took it down after a day on Instagram. I once made a video where I took mica, just mixed it with binder, and took mica and mulled it because it looks... this thing is kind of looks satisfying, just slowly moving it through that kind of goopy pile of mica substance that also kind of color shifts as it gives those kind of goopy waves of thick liquid. Does really well in short form content. Very satisfying to look at. But mulling mica can literally break down the pigment particles, literally break down those mica flakes. Really depending on, sometimes those color shifts are chrome, coated chrome or coated aluminium particles. Sometimes it's literally plastic, synthetic mica. But natural mica, and to be honest, people who say they have natural mica but it's ethically sourced is also very, very, very questionable, because no one can check that and say for sure. I've spoken to many suppliers of those mica pigments, and I've all asked them the same question. Like you say, kind of, we try to be ethically to supply ethically pure, but why can't you tell it? He said, he was a man I was talking to. He said we can't guarantee it because we have multiple sources, and they all claim that to be, but we can't just personally check it ourselves. And you know, some areas and some countries are known to have non-ethically sourced mica. It's way cheaper. Think Indian yellow being sold as genuine Indian yellow, but turned out to be what was it again? Realgar, or pigment. You can't always trust the suppliers if you're not there. But what I was saying, muller mica, it looks really nice on camera. It literally breaks down the mica particles if you mill too hard. Maybe I mill a little bit too hard. I put down a little bit too much pressure for mica. Maybe if you like have a medium-sized miller like this, and if you just go over it like, you know, like this, maybe then nothing will happen. Haven't tested it out, but yeah. I posted that video. I know I posted it. I know I made it. I posted that video, and I got so much hate from other paint makers who said I was lying and it was my technique, and it was literally just, you know, I'm just showing you what happens if you if mica particles break down. It loses a little bit of their shimmer. I showed it under the microscope. You just literally saw that the mica particles were smaller. I got a lot of hate. So yeah, I took that down. Wasn't in the mood for that kind of stuff. Let's bottle this up because I currently can't reach my pens. Let's check. This is still slowly turning. Yes, it is. Well, same with, I eventually used the same pictures I made for that, and even made a few extra. I once did a few stories or a reel on Instagram where I showed the difference between factory-made paint and handmade paint, as with the info and the measurements and everything, and the proportions I took from handprint.com. And I got so much hate because of that. Moro Archival. And they have, I mean, they really have beautiful pigments, but there is kind of a trust issue at the moment from my side. I mostly got hate on that video because I showed like handmade paint in its basics, like for instance ultramarine, 50% binder, 50% pigment, kind of ish. In factory made paint, also the professional lines, it's not that much pigment compared to binder when it comes to watercolor paint. And there were people like fanboys of fangirls of certain brands that had so much hate on that video that, you know, they wanted to see facts and proof. Otherwise, they were going to report all of my videos and stuff like that. So I took it off as well. That's also when I kind of decided Instagram isn't for me when it comes to that kind of like the hate and everything. The negativity was growing, and I don't know. Ian, shame on you. I'm not going to admit that I might find it a little bit funny or not. I'm going to leave that in the middle. Shame on you. Yeah. And eventually I made my profile on Instagram. I made it a private one because what eventually drove me absolutely crazy was the bots on there with every post that I did. No matter how much kind of words and things I blocked in the settings to stop them. And you know, putting the setting on like only followers can react didn't really help as well, because the bots just followed me and then replied to everything. That was really driving me crazy. So yeah. This is this, and this is not on. Let's turn this on. Mark, you're sending beautiful pictures of beautiful flowers. They are beautiful. Not quite sure if I can share them here, but I'm just going to share the beautiful pictures of flowers here. Mark living its best life in Hawaii. Not making any one of us jealous here. Yeah, you are. So, let's have a look. Okay, so it is still very liquid-y, which I really hoped it wouldn't be. What is the PAG? That is perfect. That is spot on. What to do? Alright, this should give that nice glow up effect again. Securing this with a rubber band, because why not? There we go, and highlighter yellow, and even more highlighter yellow probably. Not, you see a little bit of a difference, but not that much. I think going to turn the heating off, going to turn the magnet off. I mean, I'm really happy with the kind of yellow it is right now. Yeah, but this is a turmeric mark. This is just Indian yellow from the mango leaf extract powder. Yes. How can you tell a message or comment came from a bot? Well, if I'm sharing a picture of a pigment and I get a comment like if I want to sell that as an NFT, usually that's bots. So yeah. I mean, what we can do, this is now completely dry. What is? Well, this is. I have a new UV lamp over here, by the way. Is this actually working for this or not? It's not working a lot, but this is a different... It is actually... It actually does something. It does enough for the camera to see. Which I actually like. I maybe like this better. And this is actually to sanitize things. Like maybe you can see some yellow still on mine now. We're quite... Oh, there's some spots. We're quite clean before the live. Quite clean. Not perfectly clean. So this is definitely not as orange as this is. You can see this. But it's getting there. I mean, I'm getting quite close here. I'm going to cover up the pigment and I'm going to let it cool down. But what I wanted to do first was just paint out whatever is in here. Why not? I've never done that. It's still quite liquid. Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh, oh, hello. I've never done this before. Literally, it was just like seeing, oh wow. Okay. A lot of things going on in my head. This is with turmeric. This is fully without, but brilliantly yellow. This right now is 300 milliliters of liquid. And I'm going to have a look how much water is in there by weighing it first now. So I can actually see how much will evaporate eventually. This is 532 grams with 310 milliliters of liquid. Luckily YouTube is recording everything, so I can just look it back if I need that information. But I will write it down anyway. Yes, 532 grams with 310 milliliters of liquid. And it's going to evaporate. And let's see how much. We can actually see how much liquid it is. I'm going to pour it over in. So I'm first going to make this into powder. I'm not going to dissolve the turmeric extract Maya pigment in this. I first want to evaporate it to see what this becomes as a pure dry powder. This was 310 milliliters, and this is 215, meaning it weighs 317 grams of liquid. And then let's see how many grams evaporated that will be. Yeah, that's the reason why we don't buy pigmentless paints, School Chen. This cult doesn't do that. No, I'm sorry. Joking. Kind of. Okay. Benzy yellow. Seriously, Benzy yellow, which is my primary yellow. It's a little bit warm for primary, but it looks almost orange next to this. Kind of disturbing. But this is amazing. How yellow? This is really crazy. Let's see what Benzy yellow looks like next to it. Let's have a look. We can do a little bit of this. It's a clean brush after all. And it definitely is. It's definitely warmer than this. This is a little bit greener. Looking at it like this. But let's have a look if we can. This is what Benzy yellow looks like on the UV. And this is what Indian yellow looks like on the UV. I'm trying, but there was almost half Dutch. I'm actually quite happy with what this looks like, but knowing that this is genuine Indian yellow and how freakingly orange that looks, I'm still not happy with this. And I think that there will be a point where I need to just accept that I won't get this. But just seeing how much of a bright, warm, lovely yellow this is under normal light and under UV light, all the Indian yellows literally shine. So yeah, cheers by the way, guys. Can't you still contact them, Gulchen? The freakishly orange one is genuine Indian yellow, the cow's pea version. I broke off a little shard and I tried to purify that, and it worked compared to the other ones that I have. So yeah. It's still possible that turmeric was added to it in its evaporating stage, so not when, you know, paint was made out of it. But yeah, who knows? No one knows. Yeah, you like that? Yeah, I can imagine, Mark. But I don't have anyone near enough of that to even sell it or think about selling it. So I'm sorry in advance. Yeah, but saffron is I don't know. I think that's even more fugitive. Compare that to the photo I just sent you. That's the photo, and that's the paint I made from mango leaves and turmeric. Yeah, I mean, Mark, that. This looks amazing. It's also a bit orange because of the light, but this looks amazing as, you know, the paint that you made from mango leaves. I think still secretly, I think fresh mango leaves are still the way to go for this pigment. I think there are coloring compounds in the fresh leaves that are just lost in the dry leaves. But I'm also trying something new with the dried mango leaves that I have. So it's kind of I've been really busy last week working on kind of variants, and chemically kind of different approaches to the same end. Not quite sure what's going to work yet. Like I said, like what I've just made during this live, and what I prepared before the live, I can only assess that like I've done with this one, probably Sunday. No, Mark, not right now. I'm going to Sylvie's. Oh, sorry to hear that, but hello. Thanks for saying hi. And always happy to see you here. Mark, right now there's just too many things that are just in the works, for me. Maybe like what I've just made, kind of it looks like this, but maybe it's drying a little bit warmer. Maybe if it's drying, that works. You made a lake pigment out of it. What did the liquid look like? So when you were heating up the leaves, it was quite yellow, right? Quite. Was it yellow like this, like the wet paint over here, or was it yellow like it's a yellow dye and it looks almost brown, but if you put a piece of paper in it, then it's kind of bright yellow? What kind of yellow was it when you were heating up the warm mango leaves? intense bright yellow, so it was more like this, right? Yeah. I was afraid of that. It's not what I'm... yeah, I need to go a step back, I think. Right now, I'm doing an experiment with mango leaves. Literally, here's an experiment with mango leaves. But I can show you with a synthetic brush here. Kind of what yellow this gives me from the mango leaves, just like this. Which is quite an orange yellow. It's almost like a yellow ochre. I really need to write down what is what right now. Pencil. Here. Any yellow. Any yellow tests. Tests plus turmeric. This is live. This is PY154, and this is mango leaves. This is more tea-like. Oh wow, that is a very bright. It's kind of tea-like what this looks like, but to be honest, I got quite a lovely yellow pigment from like Indian or mango leaf tea after I put the magnesium salt to it. So it's very concentrated, but definitely this is not a concentrated yellow, as you can see. So this is still fresh mango leaves. Still just one day. I'll definitely contact you when it's time for that. Right now, just I got this from a very brown liquid, and this was just making the paint. Wait, let me just see what. Okay, I'm just going to let the mango leaf tea dry, and see. I see some warm UV reflectance in there, which might give me false hope at the moment, so I'm not going to make any conclusions based on what I just saw. There's also still a version in the works where I will combine the elements of extracted mango leaves with the pure color compound from the mango leaves, so the chromophore, to see if a combination of all of them might work. I'm not quite sure yet. Guys, I think I've had it for tonight. This is drying. So I can probably see like the edges drying up. I can probably see that tomorrow already. In the meantime, if there's anyone with tips or tricks how I can actually get that deep orange, which I really want. One nice thing though, I'm going to let this dry. the swatches that Mel sent me. I'll just put that back over here. Also, that look, those bright orange swatches. That's quite close. That's like identical. This is my this is my largest frustration here. Just looking at it like this. We're not really working out today. Just looking at it like this is so yellow, and I don't want it to be that yellow. This is so orange. To be honest, I don't like it that orange, like the glow, as in yellow. But as the color, I just want it to look like this. Is that just too much to ask? Nickel dioxide yellow, PY153. All nickel azo yellow. I would settle for that as well. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I'm going to get another sleepless night after this live stream because of this. But I'm definitely going to make use of those hours of non-sleeping to think about, you know, where it goes wrong. Or I'm just going to settle for the fact that I'm making a chemically pure Indian yellow. The first one ever. Yeah, that was one PY153, yeah. A urine-free, genuine Indian yellow. But I want a little bit more orange in it. And seeing what the second liquid did tonight during the live, giving that orange glow on top of it, which got me really excited, made me think maybe I'm going to change proportions tomorrow. Maybe I'm going to do a lot of that and a little bit of the other stuff instead of the other way around. Maybe that's what a cow does as well inside one of its stomachs. Without telling us. I mean, that would be really helpful, right? Just if cows would just tell us what they do when they eat mango leaves, so that we can replicate it here in a homemade studio/lab. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining. As I say every week, turn on notifications so you'll be the first one to know if I have a spontaneous random live. Because I'm literally at this point, I'm not quite sure if I will be fully kind of with my head in the Indian yellow and making tests. I mean, I have the beakers like this. This is a 5 milliliter beaker. Sorry, I need to put it like this or like this. It's one of the two. Make up your mind. I'm doing experiments in these. Tiny experiments, but loads of tiny experiments next to each other, and usually I just throw away the content, what's in it, if it didn't work, because scraping it out and drying it up, it really I need a system for that. And as you know, not a terrible fan or user of systems for that. So or any kind of organization when it comes to applying that when I'm in my pigment bubble, so to speak. So not quite sure when I'll be live again. But does the cow even know it can make paint? Well, probably they do, right? Not paint, but pigment. maybe they're very aware, well aware of it, and they just don't tell us. I don't know. If anyone is in the area here and sees me speaking to a cow, please ignore me. Or arguing with one. I've gone mad after this. Probably. But no, I'm not even going to turn off the light. It's clear enough. No bullshit. I'll have a look at one day, sometime, ever. I had one brilliant idea, by the way. I'm just going to show you that. And this is just what happens with someone who has ADHD, and is very creative. So I have those swatches in the back there, and I 3D printed this kind of swatch holder with the pigment number in it. So I thought it would be neat, like imagine like a full swatch behind this, so I could literally make like a nice like organized on color like stack of this, like a pigment library where I can just physically hold this instead of a piece of paper. So that was an idea. And that was all it was. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Again, make sure to like the stream if you haven't done that already. And hopefully see you again very soon. Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great night.